president hosted the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today for the first time since Netanyahu publicly campaigned against his nuclear deal with Iran. The president suggested today that has not harmed their relationship.
It's no secret that the Prime Minister and I have had a strong disagreement on this narrow issue, but we don't have a disagreement on the need to making sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon, and we don't have a disagreement about the importance of us blunting destabilizing activities that Iran may be taking place.
The two world leaders instead focused on the renewed violence between the Israelis and the Palestinians. President Obama insisting Israel does have the right to defend itself against attacks, while Netanyahu indicates he's looking for a diplomatic solution.
We have not given up our hope for peace. We'll never give up our hope for peace. And I remain committed to a vision of peace, of two states for two peoples, a demilitarized Palestinian state that recognizes the Jewish state.
Well, we're told the president and the prime minister also discussed a new security agreement that could increase America's military assistance to Israel. Peter Baker is the chief White House correspondent for the New York Times newspaper, joins us live from the Washington newsroom today. The optics of it all, the favorite new word around there, were pretty good today. They seemed okay.
Yeah, no, look, they wanted to present a image of two guys who are getting over it, that neither one of them took any shots at the other. In fact, Prime Minister Netanyahu didn't even mention the Iran issue. President Obama called it a narrow issue. Their point here is we have a relationship and we have to go forward even though we've had this big rupture over the last few months. That doesn't mean these guys are going to be best friends. But I think they recognize that in the 14, 15 months left that we've got before President Obama leaves office, there's a lot of business to be done. And one of them is, in fact, making sure that this Iran deal works to the best extent that they can, because since it's now in place at least until the end of the Obama presidency.
And of course, another to stop the violence between the Israelis and the Palestinians, something that we don't hear about every day here in the United States, but is certainly a very big deal there. The key would be to bring leaders from all sides together. Have they been able to figure out a road toward that yet?
Well, they haven't. What President Obama said is he hoped that they could find a way to begin moving back toward progress on that. Both Prime Minister Netanyahu at his election campaign last spring and President Obama in more recent conversations with people have said, look, they don't expect there to be a two-state solution in at least the next year or so. So what they're trying to do is at least get the two sides back onto a path where they're talking, where they're cooperating at least on some level, and where they can turn down the heat, as the president put it, in terms of the violence that's been happening lately with these stabbings and the retaliation.
Rhetorically, we want a two-state solution. Rhetorically, we hope for peace. Regarding actions on the ground there, are there actions that suggest we're moving in that direction?
Well, there aren't a lot of specific things I think people can look at the moment in that regard. But you remember twice now during the Obama presidency, the Palestinians and Israelis came together to have some sort of negotiation process. Both times didn't work, didn't go anywhere. But John Kerry, Secretary of State, is sort of a relentless promoter of the idea that there are still possibilities here, and I think you should expect to see him in the next year really pushing forward to see if we can't get them back to the table. He's probably more optimistic on that than almost anybody, but he hasn't given up yet.
The prime minister so vocal in his condemnation of the essence of this nuclear deal as the process was going on. Today, not as much of that rhetoric, that not the positions have changed. It means there's something else going on that would quiet that, at least for the moment. Can you help us understand in the few seconds that we have left what that is?
Well, I think he recognizes that, in fact, the fight is lost in that sense. Congress has voted, and that fight is over. So he has to make the best of the deal as he possibly can. And he's made a point of trying to repair some of the partisan nature of the fight over the last few months by addressing tonight the Conservative American Enterprise Institute, but tomorrow the Liberal Center for American Progress, trying to say the support for Israel shouldn't be a partisan issue, even though that's the way it kind of came across the last few months.
Really good to talk to you. Thanks so much for the New York Times and nytimes.com. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Always good to talk to you.
The New York